Welcome back to another episode of Be It GM Minnesota Wild Edition here on Dynasty Central Sports on YouTube. And thank you for watching this episode, and this is going to be a big one as this is the first half of the off season between the 2020-2021 season and the 21 and 22 NHL season. So it's the first off season as me at the helm of the GM. So we're going to take a look at everything, and up until the draft, we're going to see the first round of the draft, and then we're going to come back with the next episode, the last bits of the draft, take a look at the lottery results. Columbus jumps from 5th to 1st. That's a big jump for them, and they're going to take over the number 1 pick. Take a look, retired players of the NHL, a lot of big legendary names on here. A lot of them are down in the AHL, mainly because of salary cap and everything like that within this game. But Chara, oldest actual NHL player right now, as I can see on the list. Derek Roy goes in, he's a free agent. Tom Gilbert's a free agent. Johnny Boychuk, a lot of free agents in the list already, but no shocking players in here, and coaches that are retiring in the game. None of these guys are real, so I don't really care about them, but they are retiring, so that's kind of cool that they actually leave and cease to be in the game. We do lose Marcus Moeller, the only coach on our list that is retiring. And so that's not going to be too big of a problem. Take a look at the retired players that are now scout. Ryan Kessler is going to be a scout for the Anaheim Ducks. Take a look at the number 1 pick in this draft right now. The prospect is Aturati out of Finland. Dmitry Markov is right behind him, the playmaking center, 5'9", 172. He's a small little guy, but he's got a lot of offensive upside on his game. So we're going to take a look at him when he gets drafted. Hopefully it's early. Vic Morrison, a big-time story out of the U.S., had to actually go overseas and play in Switzerland this season to have a successful season. We'll talk about him in the draft. Cole Sillinger, Medicine Hat Tigers center. He's 6 feet tall, big offensive player, good playmaking center. And Zachary Lahura, I don't know how to pronounce his name, I'm just guessing. But we're going to actually talk to Mikhail Whiting. Why? Well, he's an 8th overall pick, so most likely we're not going to get him. But I am going to try to trade up in this draft to try to get this guy, because he is on the package, a player that I need to bring in to Minnesota. He's 6'1", 187, physically gifted, one of the more ready players to jump into the draft. He's got offensive creativity, magic hands, as the scouts like to say. Yeah, he's got only 6 goals, 9 assists in his season, but he played in the SHL, the top league in Sweden, and so he's going to be a big-time player. We got the interview questions going on, as you can see on the screen. This is a bit redundant, basically a lot of the same questions, a lot of the same answers, really. But it's nice to see actually that NHL is trying to make this different, make it realistic. You got some questions, even though they're all pretty much the same, and my responses are really fucking stupid. Like, let's move on to another topic, shall we? Like, why would I ever say that? I think we should talk about your style of play. That seems so fucking robotic and redundant, and I don't really like how it does this, but you know what? Whatever. It's kind of cool that they have this interview. Probably the only time I'm going to do it, but I'm going to interview a top prospect, a goaltender, because in our system we don't have a lot of goaltender prospects, as Kaapo Kähkönen is moving up into a full-time role as a backup. So I really like Swedes. Obviously, I'm a Euro whore, really, when it comes down to prospects. Obviously, I'm not going to shy away from a homegrown North American boy in the NHL draft, but I love Swede players. I love Euros, Finns, anything like that. So Jesper Wallstad, which is one of the big top goaltenders in this draft, Hopefully we can get him maybe in the second round. We'll find out in that next episode, as I don't believe we're going to go for him in the first round. I would probably never draft a goaltender unless he's a franchise goaltender in the first round. So we're doing this interview as more of a depth type of pick, and then we're going to pick up another interview after this interview, and I'm going to be looking in the late rounds. I want to find a gem, maybe a player like Quinn O'Coin, 6'3", 206, 17-year-old, just coming out of high school. He's going to move into the NCAA ranks, so he's not going to be around for a couple years. He doesn't have a very quick ETA, probably about 5+ seasons. But I really like how he's built. We might look at him in the later rounds. So this is kind of cool to see. I want to bring out a gem. Maybe hopefully we can, mine a good player in the later rounds. And so, as how ready do you think he can play? He's like, I don't think I'm ready to enter the draft NHL anytime soon. And I think that's fine. He's got a lot of time. He's going to go to college and play 5+ years on the NHL ETA. He's got a low rank of 211th. So we're going to enter the NHL entry draft, which is going to be a big one. We're going to cover the first round of the draft in this episode, and that's going to be the meat of this episode. So let's enter that draft. And I feel excited for this. We're going to try to trade up for that Mikkel Whiting player. I think around the 8th, 9th, maybe 7th. So it looked like the New Jersey Devils had the 7th overall pick. Islanders had 8th, so maybe we're going to try to trade up. But I do want to try to get this guy. I'm targeting him. Our scouts like him. He's an elite medium potential. And so, like I said, number 7, number 8. So let's offer for number 7. We got the 26th pick. The Devils don't like it. Anthony Cirelli is not going to get it done. A 3rd-round pick. So we're going to add a 4th, and we're going to trade that to the Islanders, and they're going to accept that. We're going to get the 8th overall pick. It's a big price to pay. 2 first-round picks, a future pick, and then also Anthony Cirelli, who is just not fitting in. The pick is in for the Columbus Blue Jackets, not taking any chances. Aturati, the left winger out of Finland. He is a 68 overall, 8 goals, 3 assists, playing in the top league in Finland. Only 13 minutes per game, so he's not getting a huge look, but his overall ability, he is a offensive dynamo. He's got a lethal shot, as you can see, as he's just roasted up. He got 8 goals as a rookie in the SM Liga, which is the top league in Finland, playing for Oulun Karpat. He a big-time player. Look at that tenacity on the forecheck. He loves to just control the puck in the corners, and he's got a great play, nice offensive instincts. He bounced that off the goalie's pad to make that rebound go to his teammate, so they could have that empty net. Look at that. He's hungry on the forecheck, and he's got speed to really pick up those open pucks. Look at that. Great balance around the net, deflection, and this is a fantastic pass right off the goalie's pads. Take a look at this pass. He's just a great player to build around, and the Columbus Blue Jackets, they just really get a great gem in Aturati. Jarmo Kekalainen, their GM, is a very, very stout scout of Finland. So Aturati is just going to bring a big-time player for the Columbus Blue Jackets at the 1st overall pick. A great player to pick, two-way forward, got a lot of great tangibles on the board, and he goes 1st overall, 6'2", 182 pounds. He's 18. He could make the jump to the NHL, but most likely he'll probably play a couple more seasons in SM Liga Finland, and he's going to play for Karpat and develop into a big-time star. We got the St. Louis Blues at the 2nd pick overall. They jumped up, and they have a big pick. The pick is in already for the St. Louis Blues, and they're going to take Dmitry Markov, a sniping center out of Russia. The only reason he didn't go first overall is that he's a bit small on the frame, 5'9", 172 pounds. Even though the game is developing back into more of a speed, finesse, skilled game, he got 8 goals, 13 assists in. He did not play in the KHL. Remember this, though. He did play in Minsk. He played in Belarus, which is, not always the strongest talent. He spurned the KHL, he spurned the MHL, the VHL, and he went to go play in Belarus, as he is not actually Russian born. He is born in Latvia. He has moved around in his life, so it's not like he has huge ties. His dad is Russian, Dmitry Markov, but he is born all over the Baltic area. Born in Latvia, played a lot in Belarus as well, in Minsk, and he is just going to be a good time forward for the St. Louis Blues to play with, like Vladimir Tarasenko, and this guy is a beast. He is an absolute dynamo in the offensive dot. He's got speed to burn. He's got a lethal shot, and then he has offensive instincts to not just make the play for himself. He dishes it off, takes all the focus on himself, and finds the open guy in front. It's an automatic goal sometimes. Dmitry Markov, a fantastic talent at the 2nd overall pick, a sniping center. You don't really see that often, but 89 speed. He's just a lethal player on the offensive side. He's a right-handed center, which is always good in the face-off dot. And the St. Louis Blues pick up a fantastic talent at the 2nd overall pick. Dmitry Markov goes 2nd overall. So we have the Arizona Coyotes coming up at the 3rd overall pick. And their pick is in, and they jump up and grab Vic Morrison. I talked about him in the beginning, the right winger out of California, Bakersfield, California. He has moved all over in his career, but he had 48 goals, 55 assists. Why wouldn't he go 1st overall? Well, that's because he played in Switzerland. He had 19 minutes per game. He was a top line player in Switzerland. The bulk of his competition wasn't as strong, so his points does kind of degrade him a little bit. But at 5'10", 182 pounds, 18-year-old, shoots right as well. A lot of right-handers coming out of the draft. And Vic Morrison playing in Switzerland. He took over that franchise. He played on a very weak team, as he was over there with he went over there just because he's the offensive star. He loves to be in the spotlight. And Vic Morrison is an absolute beautician on the ice. This guy makes plays happen all over. He's got a lot of speed, but he is small. He's a good physical player, but also he can get nailed sometimes, and definitely does not have the durability yet or the frame to really jump up and play in the NHL. I would love to see him come over, maybe play a year in the AHL, play a couple seasons, maybe half a season even, and just get acclimated back to the North American ice, as he's been playing in Switzerland for the past couple of years. And he's just a very, very offensively gifted star, and he's going to go to the Arizona Coyotes, going back to the Southwest. He's a little close to hometown of Bakersfield, California, just a couple states over. And Vic Morrison goes 3rd overall to the Arizona Coyotes, 5'10", 182 pounds, offensive gifted right winger out of Bakersfield, California, playing in Switzerland last year. So the eventual number 1 pick overall, the Calgary Flames, dropped to number 4, and they're going to go up and get Cole Sillinger, a fantastic center out of Medicine Hat, 6 feet, 182 pounds, which is a fairly common weight, I guess, in this draft. He's 18 years old, and he shoots left-handed. This is a big one for this draft. 20 goals, 36 assists last season for Medicine Hat as he was the top center, 21 minutes per game. He played a lot of minutes, 69 games, numbers cruncher. He was always a focal point in this offense, and he loves to control the puck. He dictates the ice, loves to shoot the puck, to love shooting the puck. He took a lot of shots last season, maybe ruined his shooting percentage a little bit, maybe inflated his how much he shoots. It really does affect his stats sometimes, and so that's why you got to see. The guy takes a lot of shots, which means, sure, he puts the puck on the net, sometimes doesn't look for the greatest passing play, but take a look at his game. He skates on rails. He's a very smart skater. He's a big boy at 6 feet tall. Over the last couple picks, 5'9", 5'10", and he always loves to find his teammates, though, for the nice play. He draws a lot of attention from the the opposing teams, and so that's why, a lot like Markov, he can really draw the eyes to him because he's so skilled, and he'll find his teammates open for an easy goal right on the doorstep. Cole Sillinger is going to go to Calgary, not make a far drive from Medicine Hat, Alberta. He's going to go over to Calgary, Alberta, and play for the Calgary Flames at the 4th overall pick. 6 feet, 182 pounds. Cole Sillinger goes 4th overall. And now we have the 5th overall pick coming up in this one, and that is the Ottawa Senators. Ottawa Senators always having some trouble in the draft. They always love to pick a good player. Sometimes the player, though, does not stay in Ottawa. And so let's take a look at the next couple picks, 6th, 7th, and then us, number 8th, coming up. Pick us in for the 5th overall pick of the Ottawa Senators, and it is the two-way defenseman Harry Livingston, 6 feet tall, 183 pounds, 18 years old, shoots right. He had 8 goals and 46 assists playing in Europe last year. And why did he play in Europe? Okay, well, there's a lot of players playing in Europe right now, but for Harry Livingston, he was actually born in the United States, but for about 95% of his life, he's been over in Europe. He's been playing in Africa. He played a couple years in Asia because his family, his father is a very well-renowned physician that moves around a lot, does a lot of work with charities and underdeveloped countries, and Harry Livingston has always played his hockey wherever his family goes because he's just a very big humanitarian, loves to put in the work, and he comes in and he is a fantastic two-way defenseman. He's got a bit of a personality, as you can see. He loves to just whoop it up on the ice. He's got a big personality. He skates all over the ice. He's a two-way defenseman, but watch out for him. He's like a PK Subban. He has a lethal shot. He loves to play offense, but he's not a detriment in the defensive zone. He really plays that two-way game, and as you can tell in the NHL, you really have to have that two-way game. You can't always be offensive. You can't always just be a defensive defenseman as well. You really want that versatility, and Harry Livingston comes in, and he's going to go to the Ottawa Senators, bring that booming shot, and he loves to just have fun on the ice. He's got a lethal shot. He's great on the defensive side, and take a look at the accuracy. Harry Livingston, a fantastic talent, probably my favorite prospect in this draft. On a overall standpoint, I believe his potential is off the boards, and Harry Livingston is a big-time player, and the Ottawa Senators have a lethal defenseman back there to play with. Thomas Chabot, Artem Zub, and Jacob Bernard-Docker. A lot of talent in Ottawa, and now Harry Livingston coming over and just deepening that prospect pool even more. Two-way defenseman, he's got a lot of speed, 88, big strength at 82, a big hitter at 83, a very underdeveloped game of his, but his power in his slap shot game, 86 power. He's got a great passing ability and good offensive and defensive awareness. So he's going to come probably over immediately and play in the NHL for the Senators, and see for Harry Livingston to come over and be a possible Calder candidate right off the bat, because this guy is the fantastic talent they really need in Ottawa to just bolster that defense. Vegas taking no chances at all at the 6th overall pick, running up to the stage and grabbing Ralph Staios. And that last name might remind you of Steve Staios, a former NHL player. He is related to Steve Staios, but he is not his son. Ralph Staios is a nephew of Steve Staios, and he was born in Finland. And that doesn't sound like a very Finnish name, but he had 10 goals, 18 assists last season, and he has played in HPK Hämeenlinna, Finland, for the past 10 years of his life. He's been a mainstay in Finland since being born there, and then he moved to Canada, and then moved back to Finland, as he just loves staying there, and his game is suited for him. He's a little bit of a water bug out there. 10 goals, 18 assists, playing in the SM Liga last season. Got a lot of playing time, 14 minutes per game, and he's just he's, like I said, a water bug out there. He loves to play the offensive game. He's got a lot of speed, but don't degrade his offensive passing ability. He is a very gifted passer. He can really find his teammates in open areas, really drag out and bring out the best for them. He makes his teammates better, and that's really what Ralph Staios brings to the NHL. And he's going to have a lot of speed. He's a little guy, which is basically the name of the game so far in the top 5 picks, top 6 picks. But Ralph Staios, playing in HPK Hämeenlinna, his speed really was something that they love to see in that game, in that franchise, and they really enjoyed having him back there. He gets a little bit, like I said, a water bug. He tries to get into the gritty areas, sometimes takes a stupid tripping penalty, but Ralph Staios is definitely one of those types of talents you really want to have in your pool, and he's going to go at the 6th overall pick to the Vegas Golden Knights. 5'10", 180 pounds, shoot right again out of Finland, Hämeenlinna, Finland. He's a strong kid on his skates. 84 checking, 84 aggressiveness, 83 strength. Not afraid to drop the mitts. He's not a stranger to Tilly time and loves to throw the mitts around. And then we have the New Jersey Devils. And now I am sweating because I'm worried they're going to take Mikael Whiting at the 7th overall pick. But they do have Zachary Lahure on the board still, who is actually still suited above Mikael Whiting for the 5th overall pick in the final scouting rankings. The big knock on Zachary is that he's just a little more underdeveloped compared to the other prospects that went in the top 6 picks, and so that's why he wasn't up there. But his offensive potential is off the charts, and so they have the pick is in. Let's see who the Devils take, and they do take Zachary Lahure, who is out of the QMJHL. He was the top player in that league, and the 5'10", 103 pound. He's a bit of a fire hydrant, a stocky player. 14 goals, 44 assists, 52 penalty minutes, and he played a big game for the Halifax Mooseheads. He's a playmaking center, but don't think all he does is pass it. He loves to feed his teammates, but he's also just very tenacious on the puck. Loves to control the offense and really loves to feed his teammates with the puck when needed, but he has a lethal shot as well. Doesn't really show it off as much, obviously, but it's the way he really dictates the offense. He uses his speed. He's a shorter guy at 5'11", 5'10" size, but at 200 plus pounds, he's got the frame to build upon. He's got a lot of strength, and that's what they love to see in New Jersey, as Zachary Lahure from the Halifax Mooseheads. comes in, and he's going to be a big-time player. He's going to have a couple years still to develop his game. He's going to play in Halifax and definitely develop into one of the premier players in the queue. I don't see him making the NHL for a couple more seasons, mainly just because the New Jersey Devils, they just have a lot of prospects. They got a lot of development, depth in their system, and so he's not a huge player that they have to have him come out of the junior leagues and perform immediately, and really just challenges and comes out and takes over the league immediately. He can be one of those players that we definitely see in a couple of seasons and just blossoms into a big-time player for the New Jersey Devils. Going at the 7th overall pick, and now we have the Minnesota Wild coming up at the 8th overall pick. And now I can make my first NHL draft pick, and of course, if you've been paying attention, it's Mikael Viding out of HV 71, Husqvarna 71 out of Jönköping, Sweden, 6'1", 187-pound left shooting winger, and that is going to be our 8th overall pick. I cannot wait to bring him into the Twin Cities. Let's meet him and take a look at his development. He only had 6 goals, 9 assists last season, +5 in 47 games. Those stats don't really jump off the page, but you have to remember Mikael is playing in the SHL, which is basically one of the top leagues in the outside of the NHL, but his speed to burn. He's a playmaker, but that's why I love to have him in this game. He's not a passer. He's not a goal scorer. He makes plays all over the ice. He's got speed to burn. He's a gifted hands player. Like I said in the pregame, his scouting marks were magic hands, which means the guy could stick handle in a phone booth if he wanted. He's got elite skating ability and definitely loves to put the puck on net, gets a lot of goals, and he brings some enthusiasm, some personality to his game, as he, outside of most Swedes, don't really have that personality. Mikael Viding is one of those guys that really loves to play the game, loves to score goals, and he loves to bring the fans out of the stands and really brings them into the game. He loves to just control the game. He's got a physical body, which means he's going to be able to jump into the Minnesota system immediately. I'm excited to bring him into training camp. Yeah, he's a little more underdeveloped than like a Dmitry Markov in the overall attributes, but Mikael Viding is a type of player that is going to come into Minnesota. He's built for Minnesota. He's got the speed, he's got the offensive playing, and he's going to be perfect in this environment that we're bringing into the Minnesota, playing for HV 71 of Jönköping, Sweden. That is Mikael Viding. He's a big-time prospect, and I'm excited to bring him into the system. He's got 87 speed. He's got his offensive skating abilities, 87 acceleration, 87 agility, 82 balance. He's good offensively, 83, 82s across the shooting board. He's great discipline at 82. Good offensive awareness, but he's not a slacker in the defensive zone, 80 awareness. He could step into a center position with a 77 faceoffs, shot blocking at 77, so he's not lacking in the defensive side either. Mikael Viding, a big-time prospect, and I'm excited to bring him into Minnesota. I love the Swedes. 15 points on the season. Didn't really have a huge role in HV 71 as a rookie, but he did play a big time game for them, so I'm excited to bring him in. The Detroit Red Wings at the 9th overall pick, they're going to select Dylan Guenther, and the only reason Dylan Guenther is not a first, number 2, or number 3 pick is that he had a little bit of injury problems. It wasn't like he missed a lot of games, as he did play 68 games on the season, 18 goals, 40 assists. He was out of the box a lot with 11 penalty minutes, plus 10 plus minus, because he played for a pretty weak Edmonton Oil Kings system. He definitely was the top player for this team, but his shot is just quick. It's lethal. He can turn and look the other way and just turn and snipe a shot. Just an absolute howitzer on the stick of Dylan Guenther, and he loves to put the puck on net. Sure, he did have the injury problems where he had a lacking and a very nagging high ankle sprain, which is always a tough injury to get over. He had a couple nagging wrist injury problems during the season, but really didn't make that hurt his game. He played almost every game in the season. He just didn't always come out in every game. He put up a lot of points in bulk. So in some games, like this game against Everett, he put up 5 points. And then the next game, he didn't come out and put up any points, and they lost 8-0. So because the Oil Kings, they didn't have exactly a stellar offensive team. Their defense was pretty shit, and their goaltending was pretty weak as well. Dylan Guenther had to be the show. And so when he takes off a day, which is possible because he's not exactly consistent with his game, his team definitely lost big in those games. So take a look at his build. He still has a lot of development to go. 82 speed. His shot is still nice, though, with power, 82 for both. But he needs to work on that skating. His balance is a bit weak. He has to really work on his cardiovascular. His endurance at 70 is definitely not NHL level yet, but he's a strong, smart kid. Good offensive mind, not a slacker in defense, but he does still need to work on his shot blocking, especially as a winger. He's going to have to jump up there and guard those defensemen and really maybe knock away some of the big shots out there. So he's going to have to work on that as he's going to play for the Edmonton Oil Kings in the WHL and develop for the Detroit Red Wings into a top 10 pick. Hopefully a good sniper for the Red Wings. The Carolina Hurricanes are up at the 10th overall pick, and I think they're sniffing defense in this one, and there's only one big defenseman left in this draft right now that we are looking at, and the pick is in. Let's find out if it's the guy I'm talking about. It is Brandt Clarke, the two-way defenseman out of the Barrie Colts. He's 6'1", 185 pounds, 8 goals, 33 assists, 12 penalty minutes. So he did stay out of the box, but those 12 penalty minutes were 2 fighting penalties and 1 interference penalty. So he's very smart. He plays more of a old school defensive style, 25 minutes per game, which is a lot of minutes. So he did carry a heavy load on the defensive side for the Colts. Playing on the right side, shoots right. He a very, very leader-laden player in this league. He loves to lead his team. He's a big voice in the locker room. He is known for throwing a big body check, which is definitely one of his big games in this one, as Brandt Clarke loves to throw the body around, create some disaster, throw his body in front of shots, and he's not afraid to mix it up. He loves to drop the mitts, throw a Tilly time out there, maybe tarps off, and we are going to have a Brandt Clarke fight sometimes. He's not a tough customer, not like an enforcer, but maybe in a mold kind of like a Jovo Cop type of player, where he's not afraid to bring the offensive side of the game, but he's not really known for that. He loves and thrives on the big hits. He can throw the puck on net, get those smart shots for rebounds. He loves to make that first play in the offensive breakout, and he's not going to be a guy that you don't have to worry about throwing on the power play side. He can do some offensive game, but his real game meat and bones is on the defensive side. 79 defensive awareness, 79 stick checking. Got to get the shot blocking up a little bit to NHL level, but he still has a lot of potential on his bones. He's a tough customer. He's got a nice checking ability, and Brandt Clarke is one of those guys that he's going to take some time. He's not going to jump into the NHL, but see him in a couple seasons, and you're going to hate playing against Brandt Clarke because he's just one of those guys that wears down your offensive players. He's a tough customer in the corners and in front of the net, and he's just one of those guys you have to focus on every time you come into the zone. Simon Edvinsson, the two-way defenseman from Frölunda, he's going to go 11th overall to the Colorado Avalanche. And now from here on out, we're not going to really highlight every player, or else we're going to be here for 2 hours, and you guys are not going to be watching the rest of this episode. So we're just going to drive through some of these picks in here. We got Simon Edvinsson going 11th overall to the Colorado Avalanche. Two-way defenseman out of Sweden. Carson Lambos, he goes a two-way defenseman as well, goes to the Chicago Blackhawks. He came from the Kootenay Ice, a 12th overall pick. And Carson Lambos, a good defenseman. 3 straight defensemen go in the 10th, 11th, and 12th overall picks in the first round. New York Rangers up at the 13th overall pick, and they're going to take Jay Waugh, the playmaking center out of the QMJHL, and honestly, that's a bit of a head scratcher. We'll have to talk a little bit about him later, but Boris Zikov, a great left defenseman out of Russia, goes to the Nashville Predators, 14th overall. 15th overall pick is in. The Florida Panthers are going to take Anton Olsson, the left defenseman, another defenseman going off the board out of Sweden. He doesn't have a huge offensive game, but take a look at Anton Olsson. He's a good two-way defenseman. Daniel Chaika, two-way defenseman, goes to the Los Angeles Kings from the Guelph Storm. Russian-born defenseman, came over and played in the OHL, wanted to get acclimated to the North American game, and Daniel Chaikov goes at the 16th pick to the Los Angeles Kings. The Philadelphia Flyers take Francisco Pinelli, this 5'11", 191-pound center out of the OHL. The shooting left-handed center, 60 overall. He's going to take a lot of time to develop, but Francisco Pinelli, a good meat and bones type of middle pick in this first round. And Kristanovich, Dorian Kristanovich, a left winger, goes to the Buffalo Sabres at this pick. 69 overall, 3 goals, 11 assists. He's played in Europe, so he did play against some of the stronger competition in this draft. And then the San Jose Sharks at the 19th pick takes Brett Harrison, a center out of the OHL. He's, I think it's out of the OHL, maybe, I don't know for sure. 6'1", 171 pounds, 12 goals, 31 assists last season. Oh, he did play for the Oshawa Generals in the OHL. 44 penalty minutes, so he's not adverse to sitting a little bit in the box, but he played 20 minutes per game, so definitely leaned on for the Generals. Drew Haskins, another center, goes at the first-round pick, and he played over in Finland as well. 17 points in 54 games, 10 goals, and 7 assists, 40 penalty minutes. So he's also a big scrapper, as Finland is not exactly a physical type of league, but he definitely brings a little more grit to his game. Perfect pick for the Boston Bruins. And then we have a grinding center, Cedric Elbert, the 6'3", 195-pound center, grinding center at the 21 pick for the Dallas Stars. And now we have Yuri Lazarev, the defensive defenseman for the Edmonton Oilers. And now a lot of picks are going off the board. We got Brody Jocelyn, the left winger, goes to the Washington Capitals. Right-handed shooting left winger, 5'11", 179 pounds, had 19 goals, 48 assists last season, and the Ducks are up at the 24th overall pick, and they are going to select Theo Rocher, the center, 5'10", 161-pound left-handed center out of Chicoutimi, 26 goals, 37 assists, 42 penalty minutes, and 62 games played. He big-time player for the Chicoutimi, and he is going to go at the 24th overall pick. We have Jimmy Del Monte, the right defenseman, 6'4", 210, 18 years old, right-handed defenseman, 65 overall, goes to the Vancouver Canucks, 6 goals and 16 assists last season. A tough customer defenseman, likes to wear down the offensive opponents. And then we have the New York Islanders, 26 overall pick, and this is the first of our picks that we traded for Mikkel Whiting, and they are going to take Alexander Bure. He's not related to Valeri or Pavel Bure, but the Russian the Russian sniping winger is going to go 26 overall. The Toronto Maple Leafs at 27th are going to take Khalil Simpson, the center, 6 foot, 180 pounds, shoots right as well, 2 goals and 3 assists. Not a big offensive game, but Khalil Simpson is one of those darling weight room guys that you think is going to have a good potential in his future. Andre Downey, a 5'9", 179-pound winger, goes to the Anaheim Ducks at the 28th pick. And we have a couple more picks left in this draft, and we're just going to finish up this first round. And Jimmy Bates goes to the Nashville Predators, left winger, 6'1", 193 pounds, 18 goals, 30 assists last season, 50 penalty minutes, and he's going to be a nice customer to come into the Nashville Predators prospect pool and bring some offensive game from that late round first. Isaac Rosen, the left winger, right winger out of Sweden, only got 1 goal and 5 assists playing in the J20 league last season in Sweden. 5'10", 164 pounds, still has a lot to build on that frame. And the Stanley Cup champions, Tampa Bay Lightning, take Yuri Morozov at the final pick of the first round, the left winger. And then take a look at the first picks in the next round. We'll have that next episode. And so we're going to finish up the rest of the draft next episode and the rest of off-season free agency. And we'll start next episode with the rest of off-season. Thank you for watching this episode. It went by a lot. We had a lot of information. Smash like down below, hit subscribe, and thank you for joining us. Throw us a comment down below, and thank you for supporting Dynasty Central Sports. We'll be back for the rest of the offseason next episode. We'll see you later.